Hello friends, I'm Paul Shin. Welcome back to the YouTube channel Making Model A's Cool Again. You know, I've driven many open cars, meaning like Model A's that have convertible tops, but I've never owned one. Until now. This is Roadie. This is a 1929 Ford Model A Standard Roadster, or Model 40A. There was like a jillion of these things built in 1929, which was the highest production year for the Ford Model A. And this was the least expensive of all the Ford Model A's, about $395 brand new. I think in today's money that works out to about $14,000, something like that. Who wouldn't pay 14 grand for something as sweet as this? For those of you that have been watching my videos for a while, you've probably seen this car before and recognize it. This is the Roadster that Tina and I drove in the 4th of July parade last year. This car belonged to my friend Jim, and this isn't the first Model A I've ever bought from Jim. In fact, my favorite car, the one that's on all my clothes and stuff, I bought from Jim many years ago. It is the only Model A, still to this day, that I've ever been able to drive home. Now, Roadie is capable of driving home too, but the weather's terrible, and I have something kind of special in mind for this car, so it can't go home yet. So it's still here at my friend's house in his garage. But I'm going to go over the car and show you a few things about it and show you why I bought this thing. Now, first of all, this car, okay, it has a few flaws, and we'll go over that in a minute. But there are some good points about this car, and I'm going to point that out later. But number one, this car is clean. I mean, it may not be perfect, but let's face it. I have bought Model A's that were so filthy the rats were wearing slippers. This thing, not a problem. So let me take you for a tour around this. This Model A was built in February 1929, so it retains a lot of the kind of quirky 1928 features, which I'm going to show you in a second. But one thing that Roadsters all have in common, what makes them really easy cars to restore or mess around with, there's no windows. Literally, you don't have to worry about roll-up windows and all that, which also means you don't have to worry about somebody breaking into it by just cutting the top with a pocket knife. There's no need to. There's no way to lock this up. But believe it or not, for the purpose I have in mind, that is a good thing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's go on a tour of this thing. So first thing you're going to notice when you open the doors is like miniature golf course kind of carpeting on the doors and on the kick panels. And this carpeting here on the floor, I'm not sure which 1970s apartment this came from, but nice and shaggy. So you're going to notice some interesting things like from the early cars, early 29s and 28s, you will see, for instance, the parking brake lever here is just in front of the shifter. It's not here on the side like it is in the mid and on 29 through 31 cars. Way up here, and it's got a different kind of handle, and you have to push it kind of funny to make it work. I don't know, it's kind of weird. A little hard to adjust, but we're going to get to that at some point. Also, it's got this nice wooden shift knob. I said wood. Yeah, that's going to have to get changed out. You'll see it's got the 29 dash with the oval speedometer and the built-in trip odometer, or odometer, whichever. It's got some things that kind of need a little work, like for instance this seal here under the windshield is seen better days. It's kind of petrified. I have to do a little something about that. The top is in excellent shape though, and it goes up and down super easy. I'm going to show you how that works in a second. The seat, excellent shape. And it even has seat belts already. And when you see what I'm going to do with this car, you'll know why that's actually a real plus. But yeah, there's some really cool things about this car. Let's go to the other side. I'll show you something else. Looking here at the captain's side, you'll see that Roadie has turn signals. Yes, why would a car with only one taillight have turn signals? Let me show you. So yes, it has one taillight right there, but it has added lights here and there, so that you can have turn signals. That will be very important a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. But other than that, it is the standard controls on a Model A. The timing lever is here, and it's stiff enough you can hang your laundry from it. That's good. It's got the throttle right over here, which is almost equally stiff. Other than that, plain and simple, super simple car. So this is what I like about the standard cars. You don't have the cowl lights. You don't have this stuff in the way that you accidentally bump and almost break. It does have that cool 2829 body line that makes it look more antique-y. And other than that, basic car. All right, let's take a look under the hood. So let's talk about some of the interesting things that you'll find here that you don't find on a typical Model A. Number one, a shroud around the fan here. This is a 28 kind of thing. They dropped this later on. Rody does have a modification. See, oil filter. This is good. Keeps the oil clean longer. It has a Tillotson carburetor. We'll be discussing that later. It's got the glass fuel bowl and interesting aftermarket kind of fuel line. We'll be discussing that at some point, I'm sure. Other than that, stock 40 horsepower, 202 cubic inches of power. Okay, so let's get down on all fours and look at this from the boss's point of view. Let's take a peek underneath. So here we are underneath Rody, and you'll see, number one, it's got a fairly new battery in it. I don't know, it's O'Reilly's, I think, a Superstock. It's got the typical stock Model A drivetrain. There's no lump in the middle. There's no overdrive here. It's all pretty stock, which is nice. The rear end looks like it's pretty solid back here. It's like the springs are in decent shape. There's a little bit of rust going on here. Just, you know, just a skosh. Little weight savings going on here. And there's a couple spots here where, you know, you have easy access to the inside of the car right here. Might have to address that at some point here. Yeah, a couple little spots where, you know, easy access to the interior of the car from underneath. That's kind of cool. It's custom. Muffler looks like it's in good shape, so I don't think we have any exhaust gases getting out of there. It's good. They can go where they're supposed to. Other than that, underneath of this car looks pretty solid. There's a couple of things up front I think we're going to talk about here. So let's take a look under the front end here. You'll see, yep, another tube shock right there. And it's kind of bolted into the axle, and brakes and all that are fine. Check the, oh yep, sure enough, I can get my finger underneath the shackle. That's good. That means the spring is not totally worn out. Not too bad. Those of you with a keen eye for detail probably noticed a little something weird going on the corners of the car. These are modern tube shocks that have been added onto Rody. Okay, even with everything going on under this car, I don't even care because A, that's going to make a great video series doing the work on this car, the things it needs. B, for the purpose I have in mind for this car, it doesn't even matter. The main reason you buy a Roadster is because it has a really cool party trick. It does this, and Rody does it well, except you might take two people. I don't know, let's see here. There we go. So let's address the elephant in the room. Every Model A left the factory with black enamel fenders and splash aprons. Okay, Rody's fenders and splash aprons are the color of baby poop. I get that. And the body is the color of monkey poop. Okay, I get that too. But I don't care. That's the great thing about this car. This car is cute exactly the way it is. There is a whole lot more coming your way about this car. I can't wait to share it with you, but it has a very specific special purpose in mind. And when you see what I'm doing with this car, you're going to be like, oh, awesome. That's exactly what that car needs to be doing. This car is going to become an ambassador to the Model A Ford hobby pretty much worldwide. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty lofty thing to try and put a little car through, but I think this car is up to the test. What do you think? Let me know. Bleep bloop in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. We're going to take this thing for a ride when it's not like hurricanes outside. Ugh. Hello friends, I'm Paul Shin. Welcome back to the channel. Already. Those of you that have the early car, the 28, 29, dang. Normally a Model A, and oh dang it. Part is, it's going to make A, oh fudge, it's going to make A. B, for the things that I have, the things, oh gosh, come on brain. B, well, follow the script, dummy. I can actually see my breath. This thing needs done under I'm never going to get this line. I'm never going to get out from under this car. B, for the, there's a whole lot more coming up on this. I need a can opener to get out of the car. Here we go. Yeah, it's a little tight.